my channel, and we're going to talk about today's trading here. I'm still trading 2 contracts of the ES, so my daily goal is around $500 to $800, which is about 4% or so, 5% of the total that I am using to trade, which is about 26,000. All right, so we are looking at a break of the uptrend that we've had for months. We've kind of broken through the bottom of this channel and we are starting to trickle down. Looking at the long-term chart here, the 4-hour chart, it does look like we've kind of hit this ceiling here. And I am predicting that it is going to drop. However, there's always the other side of the coin, and we can see that it's kind of on a support right here, and that the 30-minute chart here is showing that it might bounce off that and go up a little bit. So, whatever you do, you want to proceed with caution. And you also want to just trade on the short-term chart here. Okay, so it went up a little bit and it seemed to have hit a ceiling perhaps right here. So I went ahead and did a short order here, which executed, and it continued up just a little bit further, but the MACD looks good. Looks like it's losing momentum, so I'm not too worried at this point. Went up a little bit further. MACD went up a little bit further, but it still looks like it might be tipping over, so still not too worried until you look at the longer term charts. Here's the 5-minute chart and the 15-minute chart, and you can see that it is kind of hit this support level right here on both of them, and it has shown a bounce. The green candle is showing like it's bouncing up. The MACD looks like it might be tipping over. I wish I had zoomed in a little bit on that, but looks like it might be tipping over there. But on the 5-minute chart, which isn't super accurate, but definitely not something to be completely ignored, looks like it might be tipping up. So not sure at the moment about this trade, just kind of watching it pretty closely. This is looking pretty promising, and I haven't lost a great deal of money yet. Okay, it's come back down to where I got in, and the MACD is starting to turn. So now I am a little bit worried again. Okay, I'm hoping that it will get down to like this point right here. The peak that it went up to is actually just a smidge lower than this one, which we can kind of see on the RSI. The peak is a little bit lower than this peak here. And we're also starting to see change in direction with the MACD. So I still think it'll be okay, but it's really fighting that downward movement right now. And we're really following that, that resistance level of the SMAs that we see on these charts, and the support actually that we see on this chart. Okay, there we go. Had a little bit of a drop and came right down to where I wanted it to go. Took a little while to execute. And actually, I think, yeah. Actually, let me go back and look at that again. 51. Okay, so it actually executed. I'm out at this place, and then I decided it was probably going to bounce up. The MACD's looking up, so I put in another long order here. That's what happened. So here I'm in a long position, going to ride it up not very far because we're seeing very minimal movement here this morning. It's not going up or down very far, I don't think, until it figures out where it's going. So I put in an exit order at that SMA there. Looks like it almost took it. It bounced up there, missed it, didn't execute, and dropped back down a little bit, which happens sometimes. The MACD is a little bit wobbly, but it is below the average. It dropped down a little bit further, and then it zipped back up again, and it actually looks like it's going to be executed any second here. Okay, and it did. It executed, went up there, and then kind of hit the resistance level and started to show signs that it was going to drop. So I put in an order to go short, which looks like I caught it right in between. This is where I put the order, and we can see that it's actually in right now. I'm in a short, and I've made 500 so far. So, doing good. I've only made 2 trades. I'm on my 3rd trade. Okay, waiting for it to drop. looking good. The MACD here is looking good. We're still kind of fighting that support level here and here. Drop back down, and at this point I really thought about getting out. I just was a little too slow to react to that, and also the reason I was a little too slow was partly because I was distracted, but also partly because I was looking at the MACD and thought that I could probably get a little bit more momentum out of that. I moved my order too late and it bounced back up again, and I lost that opportunity to get out. So I moved it back down because I figured that was pretty reasonable expectation there. Had another opportunity, it dropped back down, kind of leveled off right here, and then it bounced back up again. So I lost a second opportunity, and this is something that happens to me sometimes. I'm a little slow to react, and maybe I'm a little tired today, I don't know. And maybe it's just hanging on to hope, because I'm not seeing that it's really going up very far. It's pretty flat right through here, and we've got a floor and a ceiling that it just keeps falling between. That's kind of weird. We lost a candle here. I don't know why. The program just kind of did that. So, all right, so drop back down, and here I've decided to move my order up, thinking that I could probably get out. This was like just $100. I was thinking that I'd like to get a little bit more than that, so I put it just a little bit farther down. The other thing that I aim for when I put in my orders is these, the blue bars over here kind of shows where the orders are sitting. And there's a fair amount of orders right here. So I figured that there's a lot more people that are thinking that it's going to get down to this point than just me. So I think that's a good place to go. But it didn't take, and it went back up again. And then it went up further. And I lost about half of my profits at this point. Went up even further, and I lost pretty much all my profits. The MACD is like really extended and looking like it might turn, so I'm holding on to that. It just kept going up, and this is not looking good over here. Leveled off, so that's encouraging. I'm in at $200 in the hole. So this is looking like it's really going to drop. So I'm really hopeful that that will happen. Lost $800, which is not good, but it's not wholly unreasonable at this point either to lose that in one trade. It's unfortunate, but I decided to hold on and wait for it to drop again. And it just kept going up. So I was looking out, kind of zoomed out a little bit more and trying to figure out, okay, what would be a reasonable place for it to go, and where would I want to get worried about it and get out? And I think this peak right here is that place. And the MACD is definitely looking like it's going to drop, so I'm still hanging on. Lost $1,100 now in this one trade. Okay. Zoomed out a little bit further, and you can see, okay, I can allow it to get up to this yellow line. We've got just a smidge further to go. I could see without it really taking away from the longer term downtrend that I do suspect that it's going to have. Like I said, it just takes a while to make that decision because we have been uptrending for so long. It takes a while for the market to react like that. But again, I'm not trading really, really long term. It just has maybe a very small bearing on what's happening today, right now. And the other thing that's thing to think about is the CPI report is coming out, I think in the next week or so. And so there's probably not going to be a tremendous amount of movement until that happens. All right, one thing I'm seeing here that is not good is that the MACD is falling faster than price action. So I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm almost down to the average line, and I really haven't gotten back a whole lot of my losses here. Okay, and it dropped a little bit, but now I'm worried that it's going to hit that support and bounce off. And it did. So then at that point, I decided that I better See, it actually extended above that last peak. So I decided the more reasonable course of action would be to reverse at this point. So I'm kind of locking in a huge loss in that one trade, unfortunately. So now I'm in a long position. I'm going to ride it up a little ways till the MACD kind of fizzles out. And the MACD is kind of going flat, as well as, you know. All right, so here we're seeing a little bit of an uptrend. Okay, and it looks like it kind of went up and then dropped back down again. The MACD is maybe losing a little bit of momentum there. Okay, I zoomed out a little bit to kind of show you where I'd put the order. It's at this peak over here, way over here, which was, that was last Friday, I guess, near the close of the day. And I think that it probably will get up to that point, but I'm not really sure. That is not looking very hopeful that it will. It looks like it's going to drop back down again. So I decided, I'll just reverse position. I'll get out here at a reasonable profit, 225 here, so that's good. I've gotten my losses cut back to 275, so that's reasonable. And then I also have an order in here to actually do a reverse. So I got out here, and I'm planning on getting into a short because the MACD looks like it might tick back down, and we could just see the potential here. I think it's almost there, maybe not quite, but it's almost to a top that we can say it might turn. Okay, green candle and then a big drop, so that was awesome. And it bounced off of that support, and I kind of missed that. I should have had an order maybe sitting in there, but I really thought maybe it would drop further than that. I wasn't really sure. So I got out here, and it was a very small profit. Made 5 trades now, and I've whittled my losses down to 150 plus commissions. So not too bad, all things considered. And sure enough, it did break through that, and I kind of missed that movement. However, instead of trying to get in a short down here, I'm trying to be reasonable, and I can see there's a lot more movement to be had on the longer term charts here. So I think it's probably going to jump back up, maybe to this point, and I'm hoping to get into a short at that place. And that's exactly what happened. So it went up, and I got into a short. Went up a little bit further, and it looks like it could be ready for a drop. However, the MACD is now below the average line. Up a little bit. Hit a peak. Hopefully that's a peak lower than what we see over here. And it's like a nice drop. MACD is just turned here, just crossed, I should say. This is looking very good. Tried it again, but the peak was a little bit lower than the previous one. So that's awesome. Nice big drop, nice big profit. Now I'm back in the green. Made 200 minus my commissions. So just trying to see what might be a reasonable expectation. I have an order in at this support level here. I mean, that's a huge trade right there. And I have to get through on the short-term chart. I have to get through this support. But I think that's probably where it's going to go. I decided at this point I'm going to go ahead and get out because that was a huge trade. That's $450 for that one trade. So now I've gotten my gains back up to 300. Went ahead and got out and decided that I needed to get some other things done, and it was already like 11:30. So I decided to stop for the day. And here's my trades that you can see. I've made 6 of them. And with the one really big one there, I actually did make a profit of $217 when you take out the commissions. And then I wanted to show you one last thing, just to show my prediction. Look where it went to. It went right down to that support. And if I had held on to that point, it bounced up a little ways, but not very far, and then it fell through it. And it went right down to where I was hoping it would. So that's kind of nice. Even if I'm not in the trade, it's kind of nice to actually be right and have a prediction come true. So that was pretty cool. All right, thanks for joining me.